Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to your December forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. We have Apollo in the background holding some space for us. I hope all of you are doing well today. We're going to be taking a look at the month ahead. As always, this can help you navigate the twists, the turns, the ups and the downs, and everything in between. We're going to begin with channeled messages first and foremost. Today, this came from meditation. And time and again, as I was tuning into your sign, I kept seeing a beautiful structure of a tree, but I was paying attention to the roots in the ground. So one, this is a super foundational symbol, but it also represents literally grounding. And if there's anything new or different or moving that's happening in your life, this month it's important to slow down long enough to really ground yourself in the purpose, to be present so that you can observe all the opportunities, identify any distractions that might be going on, and realize that in this period of time, there's a great opportunity for massive growth. The Ten of Pentacles, of course, is connected to the Tree of Life, which is overprinted on that card. And so in this moment in time, you really have a chance to plant seeds of intention and possibility and capitalize on those, not necessarily in the immediate month ahead, but in the year ahead. And as I'm starting to wrap up many of these December readings, I'm seeing that what we're looking at here is about the long-term goals. Not thinking of a short-term game, but really thinking of what am I going to do a year from now or 2 years from now, and setting those seeds into the ground, into your sort of periphery, and allowing for that intention to inform the next steps. I also think of a family tree. So some of you may be networking and growing your circle of friends. There may be an addition to the family. And overall, we just see strengthening and grounding as being the key messages and elements of this channeled message. Let's now turn our attention to the cards. First and foremost, I always like to set some intention before we begin. Close your eyes for just a moment. In your mind's eye, imagine that you're watching the rising sun, that you can feel beams of light wrapping around your body, connecting you to your higher self and to spirit and source as well. And in this safe space, let's call in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. Okay, let's get started. Again, this can be used for sun, rising, and moon, and we'll go into all of that a little bit more later. For now, I'd like to remain quiet and see what cards are coming through. All right, let's get started here with your catalyst card. This particular catalyst is focusing on the space in which you live or work, and really feeling like you are safe there. This is also a card of nesting. And so I mentioned that Ten of Pentacles, which is family, also like marriage and contracts. There may be something where you feel safe enough to make a commitment, to bring someone into your sacred space. There are two people here, there are eggs there. So this is showing birthing, creating, and nesting energy being central to December for you, Scorpio. And if you don't feel safe, where you live or in the relationship that you're currently focusing on, or even the place that you work, now is the time to really reevaluate and make sure that that foundation is there. You may also feel like renovation or redecorating, or again, the nesting energy can just be deciding to finally put down some roots, that you don't have to like hold your breath, that it's okay, that you're going to be all right. Just the decision that you are okay oftentimes is a catalytic energy, which we're in the catalyst. So it's a catalytic energy or an attracting energy that then creates that in the environment and in the future relationships that you might be forging. So already we have a very clear signal from spirit to think that way. I am ready. It is safe. I'm ready for stability, and I'm ready for something that feels like I can be here for a minute or two. It's really interesting that we have 4 eggs at the center, because if we take a look at that center card, it's the 4 of Pentacles. We'll talk more about this in a second. Before I get too deep into this spread, let's go ahead and just take a quick scan of the table. The most challenging thing for many of you is a decision at hand. 2 of Swords can represent like this thin gray line where it's difficult to decide which path to take. What I do love in this moment is the Star is in possibilities and the Page of Pentacles is in the outcome. We have a little bit of doubt, a little bit of uncertainty that we have to deal with, but what I'm starting to see is resources and opportunities that are building up. So let's just take it card by card, not get too far ahead of ourselves. Your center card, like I just showed you a moment ago, is the 4 of Pentacles. Let's take a look at the traditional illustration for just a second. Especially in this one, you can see it's not necessarily fear. Sometimes it's also comfort. Like, I can depend on this, like a blanket. For any of you that had a comfortable blanket as a kid that you didn't want to let go of. Notice he's actually wrapped up in one, right? I'm staying here because it's safe. If I try that, I might not like it. I might not succeed. We have the fear of failure coming through here in the 10 of Swords. And so the universe is trying to say, sure, you may fail, but you might also succeed, and you might succeed far beyond your expectations. Isn't it worth giving it a shot? So fear seems to be the central theme here in this, and comfort. This is predictable, and I'm afraid of the unknown. So see instead this as the tip of an iceberg, or like the eggs in here, they're going to grow into something more. The 4 of Pentacles is never enough, and it's never the maximum. It's just something to tide you over in the moment. We need to get you at least to the 5 or 6 of Pentacles, and don't worry, because we start to see them coming through. Not only that, actually, one of the ways to get there is through the 3 of Pentacles. And this is teamwork, education, and sometimes even creation. It's a card of building. So one of the things that you could decide right now is if you don't see something, a structure, a group, an opportunity, it's very entrepreneurial. It's like, well, what if I do it? Why can't I do it? If you are thinking of going to school, of learning something new, of teaching something as well, this is a great time for all of that. If we look at the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, the universe is reminding you to pay attention to the details. You can see him putting those final touches on, people recognizing that hard work. And so for those of you that are wondering, like, when is it going to be my turn? Keep working hard, whether it's education or the fine attention to details or mapping out a plan, because with the Star card in this spread in opportunities, you're creating that path. And when the time comes, you're going to be prepared. Luck is basically just when preparation and opportunity align. And it's not luck, it's a synchronicity. You're getting ready for that. I understand that you may be waiting and thinking, I need it sooner, but there are other ways to get things in the middle of that. Right now, don't lose sight of what it is you're trying to create. Don't settle for less, because this is settling for less, and we don't want that. In the deep past, we have the 8 of Pentacles. Interestingly enough, this is the sister card to the 3 of Pentacles. This is mastery. This is apprenticeship. This is in the deep past. This is showing up right now. Put it together, and it's saying you did the work. And now is your time to basically put it to practice. This is also a theory card because it's all about keeping your heads in the books, learning things, really understanding it. And as we can see here, there's usually more than one person, and it's real life application. As we get older, there's sometimes frustration because the way our parents did it, the way teachers said we could do it, it has to be changed to fit the world in which we live and the changing world around us. So one of the things that's coming through just as an intuitive download for you right now is be flexible in your approach. This actually really leads us into the next card because it's not just flexibility, but innovation. Queen of Wands. Let's look at the traditional card and then we'll talk about why this one is reversed. So traditional card, you can see a queen in the desert. We have the basically sand dunes or the pyramids behind her, and she's making things grow. She's making things happen. She's following her instincts and her intuition, the black cat. And she is the leader. That sunflower represents people willing to follow you because it's heliotropic. She's the source of light and insight. In this particular illustration, we have two power sources here, or two people that might be leading together, but the card is reversed. Sometimes it's hard if there's a person that wants the spotlight because you're getting ready to shine. We have the star here, but the card was reversed. So it's almost as if in the past or in the environment around you, there's someone who's like, I want to be there. I want it to be me. And actually, I have to show you the spread here because it's pretty clear when we're looking at it here. So this is the desire to want to lead. This is the person that could be trying to steal the spotlight. This is you that basically saying, it's my moment. I have to step up now. I have to be able to be myself. What if we both shine? What if it doesn't have to be either or? That's the challenge this month for some of you, is to show people, just point up to the stars. It's not astrology, it's astronomy in this moment. Binary systems and tertiary systems, 2 or 3 stars rotating around each other, they're more common than our sun. So it can be done. It can be arranged. So see yourself in a binary arrangement where there are multiple people that are leading, but they know their swim lane, and they know that their success also shines on the other person, and it can be mutual. You can find the benefits, you can find it's like a Venn diagram. You can find that sweet spot in the middle where both of you can say, I'll lean here, you lean here a little bit, and we'll get closer to a common goal. So can you be the voice of reason this month? That's the big question. I think you can. But it could be challenging because we have potentially 3 leadership cards here, and we have 3 on this one too. So could be someone from the past, could be someone in the environment, and then it's you. This can also just be a sort of stepping up in your soul space where you're learning to listen a little bit more, you're letting go of the need to control, and you're allowing yourself to just shine and be. All of that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if some of you are still feeling that challenge of how can I get everybody to listen? Because what I'm also seeing is just too many people with a point of view, not enough communication. And also not only that, but if we go back even to the traditional version of the 4 Pentacles, everyone wants to hold on to what they want and know. And in order to grow, we're going to have to let go of some of the old ways. Like I said, thinking beyond theory and putting new ideas, innovation, into practice, allowing everybody to have their moment in the sun, and in doing so, hopefully achieving what we see here, which is the star on the Page of Pentacles, so visibility and success. All right, here's your biggest challenge so far. The 2 of Swords represents a decision that isn't black and white. It isn't easy. There are shades of gray. There are a lot of different ways that you could go with this. I'm getting an immediate download here, which is there's sometimes a third option. The illusion is that it's only what's in front of you. If we look at the traditional illustration, the blindfolds are also like an invitation from Spirit to go inward. And because what we saw right before this was an innovative card, and we even see this crow on top here, trying to find a way to like level it up or somehow elevate this thought. The elevated thought is, what if there's a third way? And what if you're not giving in to the pressure of friends or family, or maybe a teacher, mentor, or parent? What if you rise up, because that's what a star does, and try something different? That third option in front of you could be the most appealing. So I'm opening that up for those of you that are feeling stuck. What else is there? What else could you do? What is your heart telling you to do? What is your third eye saying? And look at something you haven't tried. If you really do just have the 2 in front of you, this is saying which one on a heart level resonates. It's not necessarily going to be the one that makes sense on paper. Because if you've ever been out on a first date with someone and on paper it should make sense, everyone around you thinks you should like them, but you don't feel the spark, you can't go there. So either listen to your heart or imagine a third option. That's how you can overcome this. Spirit keeps saying 3 or 4, because we have that sacred space card with this, there's at least a couple of other options that may not be immediately obvious to you. You could ask for advice from others, but spend some time and listen to your heart and dream a little bit. I want you to be impractical in this moment and just put some stuff down on paper and say, well, what if I tried this? What if I tried this? We can make sense of it later, but right now I just need to feel out where my heart is and what the possibilities are. Then you can get practical and map out the plan. Then you can kind of go into the Two of Wands mode. But first, allow yourself to dream. Okay, we just got this in a recent daily read. It's the Five of Swords, and it's reversed. I'll take it reversed because it typically means that you're going to rise above someone or something that just isn't ready to listen to you. Because I just got this recently, I can pull it from the previous deck, and I love this illustration. Look at that guy and how he kind of has a headache. And we have very appropriate here, we have a crow kind of squawking in his ear. And sometimes there are people in our life that we cannot please. It can be a boss, it can be a partner, it can be ourselves. Whoever that person or that voice is, don't give it any more audience now. Give yourself a chance to say, enough. I'm going to focus on things that I can control. And in this card, we can actually see liberation in the background, but it requires stopping this. And just like this particular illustration, we also see the birds rising up. There's another way. Don't let one person's lack of faith or criticism, especially if it's not constructive, stand in the way of your progress. And if you do need to deliver some constructive feedback, really start with empathy and listening as well. Like, explain to me how we got here. Have you thought about this? Are you open to some feedback? There's a lot of great ways to step into saying something difficult so that they know that you've listened, that you appreciate the work that they've done. And because you want their success, to sort of be an inevitability, that you have an idea that they could possibly incorporate. As we take a look at the Ten of Swords, this is coming in as a representation of you. What I get from Spirit is sometimes you need that moment where it's like the straw that breaks the camel's back so that you know enough is enough. I'm going to pull another card from the Light Seer's deck here. This is my favorite Ten of Swords because she takes that moment of realization and it's almost like a rebirth. I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to take the bait and feel the pain and get into the argument that we saw starting to brew in this particular card. I'm going to rise up and I'm going to basically reinvent, reimagine, because whenever there's a card like this that can represent a figurative death or a defeat, there's always a silver lining. There's always light, even in the Ten of Swords. The traditional illustration would show breaking dawn here. So we see just that morning after the Ten of Swords here. So it seems like it's the end of the world, but it's not. So if there's a rejection, a setback, or something that triggers you to even lose your temper, because that can be this, it is not going to be as sort of like paramount as it feels in this moment, as big as it feels. Now, if you're watching this early enough, you can recognize the signs and symbols of that sort of potential headache and just say, I don't need to do this. I'm going to take the high road. I'm going to go in a different direction and focus on something else, because what we see here is a chance for you to focus on personal development. Before I move on to the Emperor, the Ten of Swords is a cautionary card when it comes to overworking. So if you have a tendency to put yourself into a project 110%, pull back a little bit. If you're in a family and you're doing all of the work, it's time to make sure that that other person is coming through and helping out. Whatever you're doing, it's probably too much and it's time to recalibrate. And that's what we've got here in the environment. There could be someone that is just not listening. The Emperor, even in the upright position, is basically my way or the highway, and it's a card of entitlement when we're looking at someone around you. In reverse, it's someone who can't be satiated. So that Five of Swords, that I keep pulling this illustration because it's amazing. This is it. Like, I keep trying to please you, but I can't figure out how. Maybe it's because there's a better connection out there. Don't give more than you need to. Protect yourself. Now, the Emperor is also you reclaiming your power. So in this moment, you might be starting to feel that sense of, I'm ready to move on. And now I know what I want. That's why the star is coming up right after this. In order to get to that star, though, there is this moment of deciding I'm worth it. I'm ready, I'm worth it, and I want it. And you're going to go after it, however that kind of like factors out for you. You may also need to sort of like step away from a family member or even an ex in your life, an ex-partner, and create some space because they're having a hard time letting you go. A parent as well. This could be, we have all these birds here, like an empty nest syndrome. What am I going to do without you? Companies and bosses do this too, like don't leave because you're the only one that can do this. And that isn't a safe space or a sacred space for you to be. You need to be in a place right now where you can spread your wings, where you have more autonomy, and maybe you just need to hear it from me. It's okay to do something where you're independent and you're doing something that feels right for you, okay? So it seems like you're finding your voice, you're finding your power. Reclamation of power is a really big message here. And that leads to one of the best cards here in the spread, the Star. I love this bird because it's just starting to get its foot wet a little bit. It is spreading its wings a little bit as well, and it's starting to get used to, okay, nobody's really, this isn't as difficult as I thought. When a synchronicity comes through in your life, it's easy. I recently had the pleasure of having one of those happen, and I'm like, wow, that was easy. The conversation felt really easy, the back and forth. Things just weren't forced. So whether it's a first date, a job interview, purchasing a house, or accomplishing a goal that you set forth maybe many, many years ago, everything's coming together. We need to kind of get you into the mindset of the following. You have what it takes. That's why people are coming to you. So you are a born leader, whether or not you feel like you are, at least in this moment. You don't need someone else's permission to make this happen. What you could benefit from in this moment is partnership, because the Three of Pentacles is a card where there's power in numbers. So this is definitely a great time to partner up with like-minded individuals. That's the key here, someone who sees your vision. And most importantly, because we're looking at the Star card, they don't ask you to shine any less than you can or will. Here's a beautiful illustration from a Rider-Waite-Smith derivative deck. What I love about this is you can see that the Star is a channel. So she's basically taking all of that water or energy and kind of just allowing it to flow through her. You are at your most powerful when you just sort of like surrender to the inspiration and allow yourself to be the channel, the connector, the leader. It should all flow. If anything doesn't feel right, if it's going counter to this flow, that can be what helps you decide which path to take. But know this, the big possibility this month is to open up into the energy of the Star, which is success. And it's also you being far more, what's the best word here? It's authentic, and it's just you in your skin, more comfortable in your skin than you've been in a long time. So for your sake, I hope that we can really open up the energy of the Star as we continue to look at this spread. The very last card here in the outcome is the Page of Pentacles. This could be a new job, a new opportunity. This could also be something that you're putting out into the world and saying, hey, what do you think? I like it because this page is looking at that with a sense of accomplishment and pride. You're landing on your feet here, and pages are really good at not just, calling things in, but also pushing things to the next level. So if you want something, ask. If you have an idea, sketch it out, put it in a format that people can understand. And this indicates that at least as the month starts to wrap up, that there may be some really good news and opportunity that is presenting itself to you. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and expand this. We're going to look at all the different aspects of your life here: health, wealth, love, and destiny. We'll begin with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. Let's see what your oracle card has to say. So we have the Rebel coming through here, which is really powerful. You'll notice the number 4 on this. I'm reading with a deck here that is basically based on tarot as well, Osho Zen Tarot, and it's the Emperor. It's just a different version of the Emperor. So what we have here is a leader that's willing to basically go opposite of what is expected, against the status quo. And so in your life, you're being encouraged to be a little bit rebellious in the best possible ways. in this sort of mind, like it's my life, it's my choice. I have one life to live in this body. Let's make the most of it. And you can take me or leave me for who I am, because he's unshackled here. He's breaking through all of these chains at the bottom here. So you have to take the sort of driver's seat or the initiative. And we're looking at health here. So what is it that makes you feel safe? What is it that allows you to shine? Whatever it is that really embraces those two elements, that's what's going to help you thrive as well. Because we want those roots to be nourished. You should be able to drink in and feel like I'm ready to make the most of this moment. Okay, let's take a look at these, the rest of the cards here, and just see what some other things are that you might be focusing on with respect to either positive movements in health or challenges. So I love these two cards because the Three of Pentacles and Eight of Pentacles are really encouraging you to get a second opinion and do your research. So before you make any significant changes in your health, not just leaning on a doctor for advice, but also seeing what has been published out there, talk to some other people. So look at online reviews, do your reading sort of research, and then of course get a couple of opinions. So that's the first thing here. Other things that I'm noticing here with the Ten of Swords, this can be chronic pain or fatigue. Oftentimes it's in the back. We actually see in this illustration the swords going through the wings. So it could also be pain in your shoulders or your arms. That could come, what I'm really seeing here is repetitive motion. So for those of you that might be working in a factory where there's a lot of the same things that you do, or if you drive a lot and you're compressing the spine because it normally is the spine, whatever it is, there's something about repetition that seems to be the key message here. So making sure that you're stretching and that you're changing up your exercise routines as well, all very important. And if there is any pain in your back or spine, obviously go to a doctor, chiropractor, osteopath, etc., whoever it is that can give you the insight that you need. Okay. I think this is really important. We'll go again to this Five of Swords because it shows it a little bit better. But when we're looking at people that you're spending time with or working with, this isn't sustainable in the long run. So if there's someone that's constantly squawking in your ear like this crow is, at the end of the day, that just makes you really exhausted, really tired. And it kind of leads into this one, which is I'm going to lose my temper. That's what the birds are trying to get you to do. So don't do that. Focus on your path and be strong in this moment. It would be good to stretch a little bit more with all these seated cards here. So definitely don't spend too much time behind the computer. I did a hike right before this. I'm taking my own advice here to heart. And the final thing that I want to focus on here is this, the Two of Swords. So for some of you, you might be ignoring something. It could be the Ten of Swords. If there's a little pain now, pay attention to it before it gets bigger and talk to a doctor. This is also hearing and seeing. So if it's been a little bit since you've had your eyes checked or your ears checked, this is the perfect time to do just that. And one more message before we go on to wealth. This is about making sure that you are happy where you live and work. Does the environment make you feel safe? Does it make you feel inspired? Since moving, I feel so much more inspired to do things because my body is okay. I'm not reacting to toxins in the environment. So definitely don't underestimate the importance of a safe space. And take the lead and do what it is that you need to do to feel safe. It's okay to go against what's expected. We're going to move now on to wealth, which is resources, life, purpose, and career. And in wealth, we have protection, guardians of the land, grounding yourself. It's interesting because I mentioned this is like the devil, it's holding on to something that feels predictable, but again, the devil is still a devil. So we'll look more at that in a second. We can also take this on a much different level, which is making sure that you protect your ideas. So as we start to look at people that are entrepreneurs or maybe self-employed, or if you're writing or creating something unique, make sure that you're protecting your intellectual property. Sometimes there's even laws and rules like don't do any personal business on a company computer because then they can own the rights to that. Make sure that if there's a contract that you're looking at all the different rights that you might be licensing or selling or giving away, definitely have someone look at that. At the end of the day here, though, I like that we have a card of like richness here. We have a lot of pentacles, a lot of opportunity for growth. So protect, I think at the end of the day, it's intellectual property and your own best interests. We'll look at it deeper as we go into this. This is going to have three major categories. Two of them have subcategories. The first thing that we're going to look at is those of you that are employed, but then I'll also put in there entrepreneurs and self-employed. Then we'll take a look at those that are seeking work, and then students and retirees. Okay, if you have a traditional job where you work for someone else and get a paycheck from them, I'm going to start with that. This is really important. It's going to also factor into just relationships later, but sometimes you feel like you're not appreciated. They don't see what you're doing. They don't, and maybe some of this can be the fact that you're so efficient and you do so much so frequently that they just got used to it. So if you are feeling what I see here, which is burnout, the Ten of Swords is burnout in work, you have to find the right time and place to talk to them. This is not the best time and place. Five of Swords, they may have something else on their mind. Make sure that before you have a meeting, you say, I want to specifically talk about some things related to career growth, a couple of other questions and concerns. What's a good time? I don't want to, this isn't going to take forever, but I don't want to talk when you're rushed or I'm rushed. So make sure that you get that sort of out there, that expectation, and that'll help. Document it. Whatever it is that you're trying to communicate, put it together in a presentation format that is easy to understand and really shows them like, look at what I've built, look at how we've been successful. Show them the bottom line when it comes to finances and things of that nature. I do feel like you can get what you're looking for those of you that feel like you either want some more appreciation, you want some more money, or you want to step into a leadership role. The only challenge with the leadership portion is it's a little top heavy. And this is where you might have to either take a middle management role or you're going to have to show them how there's room for more than one leader there. At the end of the day, that's pretty good. There's another sort of narrative that I'm seeing for some of you that are working, which is toxic environment. This can be people saying negative things. It's not just gossip. It's actually more like people that are saying things that they shouldn't say. And this is work conditions that make you feel burned out, the Ten of Swords. And this is a boss that they're like, as long as people keep doing it, I'll keep letting it be. So what we need here is collaboration, cooperation, again, documenting things and saying this isn't sustainable. That's the word that you'd want to use there. I think you should shop around if this is what's going on because this person isn't listening. So see what else is out there. I would add to this that you should really only do this if you're ready to call your own bluff on something. And if something better is offered, take it. If your current company tries to counter, think to yourself, why did it take me having like 1 foot out the door for them to see what I brought to the equation here with the star card? It shouldn't have taken that much. That's the answer. But sometimes people just, they don't know what they've got until it's gone, like the Joni Mitchell song. And this is a moment where you need to go where you're seen from the beginning, not with a threat, because the bridge is burned after that, and the trust is gone, and it's hard to rebuild because they're always going to look at you and think that's the person that almost left. So if you got to that point, it might be time to just chase, be the pentacle, be your own star, find that opportunity. And know that where you're at, it's probably not going to happen in the way that you want it to. You can also take people by surprise with a really great idea, and then they start to see you as someone that's worth investing in. So there's a lot of different ways to look at this because I'm doing a general, but those are the messages that came forth. Okay, moving on to entrepreneurs. If you own your own company, one of the things you want to focus on in this moment is making sure that you're not just doing what's predictable. This is inviting you to be a little bit more of a disruptor. We got this in health, but it's kind of, you might be protecting yourself from being a little bit more outspoken. What I'm seeing here is that people would love to understand like what the company's about or maybe what you're about. And if there's some ways where there's, positive overlap, this could be a chance to sort of put your personality into the business a little bit more. The other thing here is, it feels like it's almost top heavy. So if if you're trying to grow your business, the next hire should not be another leader. There needs to be more people that are helping to execute all of the sort of ideas. It definitely feels a little top heavy. And I think that there could be more positive communication. So 2 of Swords, 5 of Swords, 10 of Swords. Sometimes we are so fixated on what isn't working that we forget to reward what is. So make sure that you're addressing that. If you're getting any negative customer feedback, embrace it and say, thank you so much for bringing it to our attention. How can we make this right? Or we're going to make this right. So address it and make sure that that's going to help turn people around. So there we go. And also just be kind to yourself. I feel like this can also be this illusion that you're the only one that can do it. If there are other leaders around you, delegate. This is burnout. This is you with that dialogue that, things are worse than they are. And this is you not looking around at all the great people around you. Okay? Now let's focus on job seekers. Can you find something? Yes, but there are some things I want you to pay attention to. First and foremost, it's all about morale. We don't want to go to a company where these 2 cards are, where people don't kind of like build you up, they break you down, where they're going to work you until you're exhausted. One thing I really encourage in this moment is, if you want to get some training or something like that, or if you can go to a place that is willing to train you or pay for school, it may tie you up for a couple of years, but it could also help expand your horizons like in the long run as well. Education is coming through also as a potential place that some of you want to go, whether you're becoming a teacher or a mentor or a therapist. I'm also getting that calling for some of you. The biggest challenges right now there are some companies where, like I said, morale could be low, where there might be a burnout sort of track where they expect a lot out of you, or where they're not looking to utilize all of your skills. They're like, we just need this, not this. So there is another option here, which could be for some of you to pursue like your own company, starting your own company, or again, maybe going back to school so that you can get what you want and you deserve over here. I also would like to warn against negativity when interviewing. So if somebody says, oh, I heard that there were some problems at that company, how was it? That's not an invitation to spill the tea. You could basically say, well, my experience was this, and I'm really drawn to your company because of this, this, and this. I'd love to talk more about that. You've heard and read everything you need to on that. Let's talk more about this opportunity. You can just switch it back to positive or say even this, I feel like everything's a silver lining. Were there challenges? Yes. Did I learn a lot? Yes. Do I know what I want and don't want? Yes. So I'm grateful for all of that. To that end, I'd really like to understand a little bit more about this. Could you answer this question? Be professional. Don't spill the tea. That'll help set you up as the star candidate that they're looking for, and you can get something. But it is about rising up and reframing the narrative, perhaps. Also, just staying positive in your thoughts. It's difficult. I've been unemployed before, and sometimes you just start to feel the weight of things, and it's like, can I and will I ever get through this? And yes, you will. Okay, let's move on to the next thing, which is those that are students. I see burnout here with the 10 of Swords. So take care of yourself. I do love, however, 3 and 8 of Pentacles. That literally is, like I said, apprenticeship and mastery. Some of you may decide to take it to the next level, either take another course or go another year or go from like undergraduate to graduate or whatever. I just see elevation here. I also want to remind you of that third path. If you're looking for a certain school, sometimes you can set up your own program with the dean there or something. So there might be something that's outside of the box that would be a better fit for you. I see bullying here, and I don't love that. If there's something going on where it could be a teacher that's doing this too, whether it's a teacher or just an older student that knows better, it feels like it's important to bring this to others' attention. You can resolve this, but I'm sorry for those of you, whether you're in a job or at school and the bullying is going on. I see that. That's not good ever. Do whatever you need to do to feel safe and supported. Okay, and now for retirees. Some of you are just at an impasse. The 2 of Swords is really just an invitation to think, what else is on my list? What haven't I tried? For some of you, you want to go back and learn something. Great. It doesn't have to be going back to school. It could be learning a new language, learning to paint, learning to tango, I don't care. But there is some learning here, and you could meet some really cool people in that process. Also, at this point, why not? Have fun, stand out, be the rebel, be the star. This is your moment to shine. I do think some of you either have a passion project or something really important to you that you want to put your time and energy into. Absolutely, this is a great sort of like calling card, literally. Okay, let's move on. Let's take a look at love. We have an interesting one coming through for love. The god of war here, Aries. Be mindful. We are entering into a retrograde period, and it's going to be there for part of December. Try to avoid the Ten of Swords. Take the high road if you can. Is it worth it at the end of the day to say or do what you want to do? In the moment, sometimes it feels good to just get it all out. But if this is someone that you're going to have to see consistently in the future, let's not completely implode the bridge, right? And that's really what Aries is reminding us. If there is something worth fighting for or someone worth fighting for, Aries is saying follow your heart and do just that. Okay, let me put the camera down. I'm going to pull the blinds because we have some glare, and then we're going to talk about the 3 categories for love. Speaking of Aries, literally it's right there on the card. There could be an Aries coming into your life this month. There's a lot of passion, there's a lot of heat, there's a lot of energy, and it could go any way. We'll look at that when I'm looking at those that are single and looking. But first things first, these are the 3 categories. So I'm going to look at those in a relationship, then those that are single and looking, then those that are single and happy. If you're in a current relationship, the biggest challenge, easy. It's communication and acknowledging the contributions of the other person. And it cuts both ways. 5 of Swords, someone who just isn't listening or taking accountability and may only be offering up the critical elements and not the constructive elements. Some of you are right on the heels of an argument, the 10 of Swords. And it hurts. And you want the other partner to know that hurt me. Sometimes we have to express that it hurts me when you do this or when you say this or when you don't acknowledge this. So saying I love you, saying I'm sorry, waiting for the right time, taking accountability, and avoiding an argument. I mean, that's a lot of practical advice that any relationship can really benefit from, but those are the key challenges. And again, with Mercury in retrograde, it makes a lot of sense. Don't take the bait with the fight. Even if the other party's initiating, just say, is this worth it? Is this really what we want to, is this where we want to go? Because there's so many other things that we could focus on. Okay. To that end, one of the things, it's interesting that these birds are kind of picking at all of this. Some of you may be focusing a lot on the budget or school. Some of you may also be really engrossed in your job. And what we see is, it could be a combination of this, but not a lot of together time. It would be lovely if there was a little bit more of a bridge here. Also, I'm missing like charisma and attraction cards. I want to like at least see the Ace of Wands or a Magician card here or something like that. 2 of Cups, Ace of Cups. I'm just seeing a lot of distraction. So we can now go back to the catalyst here. Create a space where the 2 of you can feel okay. And it may be somewhere separate from the house. It may be a place where you're getting away out into nature or something like that so that you can be together, you can be clear, there's no distractions, there's a babysitter if you have kids, whatever you need to feel safe and that you can kind of like just talk for a second. Now, for those of you that are doing fine, you're like, Nicholas, our relationship is not in trouble. Here's what I see. One partner might be on the rise here because we have the star card coming through. What's challenging here is there's a lot of work and a lot of stuff to do, so sharing the load. If one partner is either really doing well in school, work, or life, and the other partner is trying to kind of keep everything together, it could create this feeling of imbalance. And we all take turns in relationships. You're not going to always have 2 stars shining. You're not going to always be the one in the spotlight. So it's about understanding that it's going to, over time, even out. If you feel like it isn't evening out, this is a bigger conversation to have. What I like, though, is if you communicate something, a need, a desire, or a wish, it feels like with the Page of Pentacles, it can happen. You both have to just put in the work. This is a month to put in the work. And it's a great time to go to therapy if you want to work on better communication. Okay, If you're looking for love, we already have an Aries coming through, loud and clear, also an earth sign coming through. However, I don't think this is something you need to actively seek. Aries seems to be pursuing what they want here. And this page will come through when they're ready. But there's some healing that you need to do here in the way of the Ten of Swords. There's some environmental changes that need to be improved with this Five of Swords reverse. And this Two of Swords is asking you to look at all things in your life. This is really a time for internal healing, recalibration, and growth. Once you've done that, we have possibly a deep soul partnership coming through. It could be past life. It could just be someone who really sees you for who you are. But you have to see you first. You have to see yourself and value yourself first. So I think it's a little premature. I think as the month comes to a close, we could have this earth sign or this Aries coming forth. But the beginning portion is more self-care. And to that end, now looking at those that are single and happy, everything I just said about self-care, plus if you really want to put all of your energy into one thing, the Star and the Page of Pentacles are right on top of each other here. And the reverse Star is also looking at things from a different perspective, as is the Queen of Wands. Innovative energy and unusual approaches are really being rewarded. Don't just do the status quo. Do something that no one else has done. Do something that you haven't done before. This is going to put you in a place of leadership, success, and I think you're going to surprise yourself pleasantly, okay? Let's see where it's all headed. Destiny. This is also, I may elaborate further on this. This is like dreams, destiny, and desire. It's kind of all that stuff that we're looking out in the future. Where is it all headed? That's what Destiny's asking. Okay, so we have Uriel, one of my favorite archangels, coming forth. And let's just turn it up right. Uriel is saying, you're going through a learning experience. Take time to review, study, and hone your knowledge before proceeding further. And you have the two studious cards that I mentioned here, the 3 and the 8 of Pentacles. Apprenticeship, mastery, but also volumes of knowledge. There are some of you out there that are actually really good at writing, composing, illustrating, somehow conveying or channeling this into some choreographing, somehow making this into something bigger. And I see multiple projects coming through because of this. So you could be really productive in some of the painful memories from the past or challenging memories. You've learned so much. Find a way to share it. I was listening to NPR, and they were talking about how all music, but also sad music, has this ability to create healing endorphins in the mind. So does happy music, for that matter. But sometimes catharsis is really what I'm talking about. We can take a cathartic sort of energy and we can take a painful energy, channel it into something beautiful, and that in and of itself is a catharsis. That's why sometimes we feel really good at the end of a movie where we cry or a book where we cry, because you were able to get some of your emotions out. Find your catharsis this month, Scorpio. That's going to help you be happier and healthier in the long run. All right, let's go ahead and expand this a little bit further. We're going to go into the energy of sun, rising, and moon, and let's see what Spirit has to say. Sun, rising, and moon. All right, wildly different cards. We're going to start off with sun sign message first. We got the Tower. Changes are afoot. It's time, and kind of looks like Big Ben from Westminster. So with this, it's really time to just take the next step, to take the first step for some of you. A tower is a necessary change. It never is in the time that we want. That's why I like that they have like a clock tower here. It's happening exactly when it needs to. In fact, you're overdue for something to happen, so embrace the change. That sometimes is like, it can be really, really good, like someone comes into your life and sweeps you off your feet. It can also be something that it's so inconvenient, like you get sick, you have to take some time off, and everything gets pushed, or you lose your job, and now you're starting to think, well, should I keep doing this? Should I do something else? It's really asking you to focus on path and purpose and clean up any messes that might be existing in your life. Now is the time to really rebuild so that that 10 of Pentacles that I intuited earlier can really come through and you can thrive. So there's a necessary change, and there's necessary reorganization happening for everybody that is in Scorpio Sun. Okay, moving on from Sun to Rising, we have the Seven of Swords. The reason that I got excited is this is a sister card to the Five of Swords. Both of them came through reversed. Just to kind of help solidify what this means, I'm going to go to the Light Seers deck because they're just really easy to parse. So, Seven of Swords. It's the art of distraction sometimes. So there's things going on in the background or foreground, and someone takes advantage of that noise and gets away with something. This card, the Five of Swords, is also a form of distraction. If I get in your head enough, then you're not going to be able to focus on this. Sometimes people are doing a little bit of both. They're trying to distract in any way possible. Seven of Swords takes it one step further, and basically, if someone in your life promises to do something, maybe they have no intention of doing it. They're just going to try to get away with something. Maybe they're also testing boundaries and limits to see if you even notice that, they're doing something that they shouldn't. In both of these situations, it's going to be very important to speak up. Here we see someone trying to fly away with the swords, and the other birds are kind of just trying to make sense of all of it. I think in this moment in time, having boundaries, sounding the alarm, that's actually what this bird is doing in the foreground, saying stop, and leading with integrity. Be honest, transparent, and have integrity, and that is going to make you shine. That's going to help you stay in that star energy. Don't meet this on the level. Don't go negative. Don't try to argue, because we saw with the Five of Swords, it's not going to work. It's just going to be a headache. So it's the first time I kind of read it this way, but this bird is sounding the alarm. Stop. This isn't what we said, and I don't want to see that again. And maybe you have to take it to the next level, which could be, getting someone else to step in, a mediator or legal action or something like that. So being very mindful of what's going on. Don't get distracted. That's the main message for Rising. Rising is going to also be a big part of business. So really pay attention in business. And it's interesting because when we were looking at business, we had protection. So don't get distracted and lose track of something more important. That's when someone swoops in. Okay, Moon. Thank goodness, we have the Ace of Pentacles here. This is great. It's nicely aligned with the page. Some of you may have a couple of things that you're juggling at once. The cool thing with this, though, is aces really have the potential to grow and take you to the next level. You just have to follow through on it. So my question from Spirit is, what are you doing to take an idea and develop it or bring it to the next level? Okay? This could also be someone who's interested in you. Love. This could be a new job. And this can just be you saying, I'm ready and I'm worthy. We have one final question that you can ask, and this is just you and Spirit. So focus on the question that you still need a little bit of insight on. I'm going to shuffle the cards, and I'll give you an answer. I'm loving that we've got so many pentacles. This one is reversed, so we'll talk about this. A King of Pentacles in reverse is typically saying, if it's a yes or no, there's something that around the timing which makes it not a yes yet. So I would say not yet, but here's what you can focus on. Sometimes you're holding on to something too much. So Queen and King of Pentacles in reverse shows something that needs to be released or birthed. And it's interesting because we have these little eggs in the nest here. So there might be something that you've done everything that you can to or for, and it's time to let it go and move on. You may also be a person that gives so much that your internal battery is depleted. And if this is a moment to basically fill that battery back up to full. Take care of yourself, nurture yourself. This can also be investing in one's future, whether that's school or saving for retirement, paying down debts or whatever. It's really important to take care of yourself. Once this is done, then I feel like you can move forward. But the main thing that's making this a not yet is it's kind of back to this clingy energy of the Four of Pentacles. And I mean that in the most descriptive ways. Clinging, I should say. If you want something to happen, there has to be room for it to breathe and grow. Think of a think of a plant that's in a pot that's too small. It's not going to get past a certain point, and then it might actually just not live because it can't expand. So in order to expand, something needs to be released, and there needs to be breathing room between you and what you're trying to call in. When that happens, it'll be easy. You can spread your wings. Things will be fine. So there's either too much attachment to it, or you need to take care of yourself first. Once that happens, yes. I hope that helps. All right, my friends. That brings this reading to a close. What a powerful reading it was. I hope this resonated with you. If it did, do me a favor, like and subscribe, and then leave a comment. Let me know what you feel most connected to in this reading, and I do appreciate that. If you'd like to give me a follow on social media, it's Nicholas Ashbaugh on all major platforms. I'm also on some emerging platforms like Blue Sky. It's actually my website address, nicholasashbaugh.com. That's my username. And you can go to my website also for more information to make sure that you can find that. With that being said, remember, I do not offer private readings or use direct messages. Please let me know if anybody is pretending to be me. I'll block and report them, and you can do the same. If you'd like to show support, you can do it through super stickers, super chat, and memberships. And to everybody who does a little bit of that, I just want to say thank you for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Let's wrap up with a little bit of love from Apollo, who's gently sleeping behind us. I'm just going to give him a little scratch on the head, and then we're going to wrap up. Yeah, buddy, I'm talking about you. Yes, it's a good dog. Yes, you are. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being amazing. Wish you the best. Check out the daily, weekly, and monthly videos on the main channel page. And until I see you again, have a great evening and a great month ahead.